Well, hello there and welcome. I have a very special guest here with me today. He may not need any introduction for those of you that are local to St. Catharines or Niagara. He is Mario from Purahome. He will tell us more about what he does, but on a very high level, Mario runs a really amazing business that does water and air purification. And he is probably one of the most sincere, kind, passionate, and educated resources that I know. So welcome, Mario. I'm so happy to have you here this morning.
Hey, thank you so much, Charlene. Thank you very much.
So Mario, why don't we start by you telling us a little bit about yourself, who you are, how you got here, or yeah, just an overall introduction of yourself.
Well, thank you. So I am local to St. Catharines, and as a teenager, I always wanted to be a science teacher, and I was blessed to have a wonderful experience in high school and university. I did attend Brock, so I have a lot of local roots here, and we've always stayed in touch with our science connections. And I was blessed to have, I think, 11 or 12 years as like a senior science teacher, chemistry, physics, math. But what happened was when I was in university, my thesis was on in chemistry was on the analysis of certain cancer compounds in water, and that really opened my eyes, Charlene, to a couple of things, like really how polluted our environment was, and that these toxins are very difficult to detect, and that when you detect them, it was very clear from our research that the toxins are in actually much greater concentrations in the environment than what's being reported. So that opened my eyes, and without realizing it at that time, as a young, I guess, 20-year-old, I was really investigating water purification as well because I had to separate these compounds. And so that never left me. And with the background in science and passion about health, that was our goal was, well, how can we help people with their health using science and, to really help improve everyday life? And so that led us eventually to really forming Purahome. That was the core, that was the initiation, if you will. Um, so Purahome started many, many, many years ago. It started over 30 years ago, even though we've only been in business for, well, only, time is flying. I think we've been in business for over 20 years right now. So
Wow.
that was the start, Charlene.
You know, Mario, that makes so much sense. I didn't know that background information about you. I just know you as the water and the air guy, and like you are so passionate about what you do, and that totally makes sense of how you got to being so immersed in what you do. So thank you for that little insight into your life. It fuels everything. Isn't that interesting? So Mario, maybe it may be helpful for you to share with this group what it is that you offer at Pure Home. And, one of the things that I talk about, particularly as a nutritionist, is, of course, what we drink, what we take into our bodies. But there are things that do affect our health that we can't see. And I know you have some really amazing things in in your realm and what you offer that contribute to overall well-being and actually address some of the things that you can't see, like EMFs and also air quality. So maybe it might be worthwhile for you to share, what you have, why it's beneficial, the services or products that you have.
Okay, for sure. If I even think about what Purahome is about, like our commitment really is to helping people live healthier. And in doing that, it's our passion. Uh, we're always trying to learn. We learn from people like you, our network, about health. And when we integrate science and health and our expertise, the whole goal is to create a trusting relationship with people. And there's nothing greater when we see that they have more confidence, greater peace of mind, that they're being protected from so many different things, the environmental toxins that we're getting bombarded with. It's never been like this in humankind, our history. So help, a lot of help is needed now, constantly researching. So having said that, even if I like kind of review how we did this, with my thesis, it started with water. So that was a natural place to start. And what was amazing was I remember my first phone call to a Dr. Martin Fox, and he was the first person to write a book on healthy water. And we contacted him because he had hundreds of references, Sharlene, on all of these different aspects of water. And it was very clear. And I'll never forget that phone call. And he essentially said to me, he goes, Mario, I had a stack of papers 2 feet high on one side of my desk that showed you have to have minerals in your water. And he goes, I had another stack of papers an inch high on the other side that really didn't show any relation. And I thought, well, that makes sense. Water was designed in nature to dissolve mineral, and our body is mineral based. So, we've since learned then that if you consume water, demineralized waters, Brita, reverse osmosis, distilled, zero, all these brands, you are at greater risk of heart attack and stroke, or dying from heart attack and stroke. And there's 60 years of data on that. So that led us to finding a wonderful company called Aqua Space. And the reason why space is in there is because they took NASA's research. NASA meaning for the astronauts to stay alive, they, in space, they don't have continuous supply of water. They urinate, they flush it, they drink it. The cycle repeats itself, urinate, flush, drink. So that's the technology we've brought in to clean the water for our customers, and it leaves the minerals in. And minerals are key. Trying to get as many toxins out, and I say whole spectrum toxins, Sharlene, meaning heavy metals, which are at one end of the spectrum because they're metallic, they're mineral based, they've got a charge. And at the other end of the spectrum, you have organic pollutants, which are not mineral based, they don't have charge. So you have different technology to take them out. And we've been blessed that our aquaspace technology thrives on both ends of the spectrum. So it really is a universal whole home spectrum filtration technology. And we learned a lot about water, but we realized water isn't enough to help people with their health. And in 1998, a major study came out, the Journal of the American Medical Association, that showed within 2 hours of exposure to airborne pollutants like ultrafine particles, our risk of heart attack and stroke goes up 50%. And that, I still remember that moment, that hit me on the head like a big hammer. And I thought, wow, we have to be as comfortable, as knowledgeable in air quality for our customers' health if Purahome is going to have any success. So Purahome then obviously started with water purification to help people's health, and with air. And what we learned by observing was, yes, the goal was to reduce people's exposure to toxins, but we started learning about our immune systems and blood flow and circulation. And you can talk about things like aquaporins that allow water to go into your cells. And if you don't have the right charge on the water, like if it's acidic, like Brita or RO, it's going to be very hard to get that water into your cells. So nutrients in, toxins out, that's difficult to do. On the air side of it, we talk about inflammation, which is synonymous with acidity, right? And these aforementioned technologies in water are acidic. They will feed cancer, they will feed arthritis. So the term acidity and inflammation are interchangeable. They're really one. And so when we clean people's air, what we have seen, a beautiful study out of UCLA and USC showed these ultrafine particles make it right into your cells, and everything you're doing with nutrition, it really is about the health of people's cells. And the greater the amount of ultrafine particles in the cells, the more damaged, the more deformed the mitochondria within the cell becomes. And the mitochondria is what gives your cell energy. And then we can really say, well, if your cells aren't getting energy, you're not going to have much energy. And we started seeing, hey, I think that's why our customers are telling us they're more energetic now. We were protecting their cells. Their immune systems were also strengthening. So blood flow was improving, right? So when you do minerals in water and you reduce the particulates in there that really thicken your blood, and this was one of the coolest studies I saw, where they looked at different factors in blood performance that, just like if somebody is suspected of having a stroke or heart attack, they look at your enzymes and your blood work to see what's happened. And if they detect that, they can tell that there was a cardiac event. Same thing in this study. And what they saw was really cleaning the air. these markers significantly decreased in people's blood. It, it totally improved blood vessel performance and how the heart was functioning. So much so that was actually a conclusion that purified air reduces risk of heart attack and stroke. Those were the two core components, if you will, for Purahome, but we knew there was a third part, Sharlene, because we're very electronic in nature, and people really have to stop thinking of their cell phone, their large screen TV as electronics, right? And if you get rid of the letter IC from the word electronic, you're left with the word electron. Electron is the fundamental negative charge that's in all our atoms, that's in all our cells. And we have way more electrons than a cell phone or a TV. We're electronic in nature. We knew the third part of Purahome would be based on electrons, charge. And as a result, many years ago, 5 years ago, and this was probably the easiest decision because we scrutinized what we offer. When we learned about earthing or grounding, within 1 minute, I thought, my God, we have to get this to our customers. And I'm a customer too. You have to remember that. Like a lot of times I do trials on my own family as the scientist in me. And in my case, what was really cool after 15 years of marriage and never once trying to prevent pregnancy, after we reduced the heavy metals in our body with our, a lot of what we do and we grounded ourselves, we got pregnant. So I have the greatest gift in the world. Sophia is now 3. I'm 52, right? And I feel like I'm 22. That's a testament to earthing. This has happened to other customers. We've had so many people on chemotherapy who suffer from neuropathy, and within 1 to 2 days, they get the feeling back in their hands and the feet. And this is all a testament again to what I was talking about earlier: blood flow, blood flow, blood flow. For example, we had one young girl, 23, trying to finish college, migraines every day, nonstop. Specialists, doctors, CAT scan on the brain. Nobody could figure out what was going on with her. And we were blessed that she came in. And first question was, well, what are you drinking? And she was drinking Brita, which is an acid, which feeds the migraine. Okay, so that's got to stop. And very simply, she switched to our carafe, which keeps the minerals in and does a far better job of removing toxins. And then we grounded her bed. We wanted electrons flowing into her body. And, we were hoping this would help. And what was amazing was the next day, her migraine had disappeared, right? And how much did that CAT scan cost our medical system, right? So she spent just over $200 here, and she was migraine free.
Wow.
So electrons, getting them into our body, and earthing is the greatest antioxidant. And that's what oxidation is 3 words: loss of electrons. We need to get them back in our body. And when you're walking around on laminate flooring, on sealed hardwood, on glazed tile, you're separated from planet Earth. So yes, it's true. When you are barefoot on a wet beach or on wet grass, you're picking up electrons. And if people start paying attention, just observe. You will notice you feel better because you're neutralizing the positively charged free radicals in your body. We knew we weren't done at that point. We looked at EMF protection 6 years ago. And Sharlene, I got turned off. I didn't like what I saw, and maybe it wasn't the right time, and maybe I wasn't looking hard enough. But then, as I explained, my wife got pregnant, and now I'm highly motivated, right? And I have to start with my family, and we do testing. So what we did was we found now this time 3 or 4 companies that looked pretty good for EMF protection. And EMF stands for electromagnetic fields, and I think most people are aware now that they're not healthy. There's a lot of research on this, and now you see 5G towers everywhere. And one of the things, it was sad. My wife is from Sault Ste. Marie, and we went to visit several months ago, and that's an 8-hour drive, and beautiful drive through the middle of nowhere, and you see all the different colors, all the rocks of Ontario, and the whole drive there, literally every probably 4 to 5 minutes, a 5G tower on this whole 8-hour drive. So we're bombarded with new toxins. And in the end, we partnered with a company from the United States. The funny thing is they wouldn't set us up to be a representative, their partner for Canada. Meanwhile, these other three companies that we liked did, and I liked their products so much more that I paid full retail in US dollars to protect my wife who was pregnant, protect our baby girl. And what was really cool is I saw right away my wife was a lot more calm. And please understand, our lives had just flipped upside down, right? We were in our 40s. Um, we didn't have children, so we were going to the gym a lot, and now that changed. And what was really neat was we saw it in my wife Carrie, how she became a lot more calm. And we've had people tell us, we're more calm, we're more energetic. Um, so we're thrilled to have really good EMF protection now. It's based on the principle of not trying to shield you, Charlene, because EMFs are ubiquitous. They're everywhere. They're coming from the ground, from the sky, through your roof, through your windows, your walls. How are we going to shield you from that? And that doesn't make sense. So let's use physics. Let's send out beautiful healing frequencies that will modify the harmful characteristics of these electromagnetic frequencies that are damaging to our cellular DNA. And so their testing was all done on how effective human DNA can heal itself. And the best way to explain this then, this will take about 1 minute, is if we do an experiment on you, Charlene, okay, we're going to have you all alone, and we're going to test your cells, DNA, its ability to heal itself. Like DNA is electrical in nature, and it can split and it can recoil and heal. We're going to do the same trial on you again, but with a cell phone beside you. And then we'll do the same thing again with a cell phone beside you, but put one of our safe space smart patches on the phone. And what the testing showed, and it was third-party testing, and I read about this company. The owner has a PhD. It was all quantum physics, which brought back all these memories of third and fourth year university, and some of it was over my head, but it was legitimate. The testing was very clear that in these three trials, when you had the cell phone beside you with the EMF protection patch, the trial showed that's when your DNA's ability to heal itself was greatest, even greater than your control, just to show you how healing frequencies are. So obviously you're familiar with homeopathy. Yeah, frequencies are amazing when they're used properly. And, this explains too why, people, they go for CAT scans and x-rays, they don't feel good. And yet they go for MRIs and, whoa, I feel really good. Because, yeah, those magnetic frequencies are healing. So that kind of wraps up the modalities we use here at Purahome to, really do everything in our power to try to help people, air, water, and then the electronic part, the earthing and the EMF protection.
Yeah, it's thank you very much, Mario, for that in-depth insight and the inspiration. I think it's very clear that what you're doing and why you're doing it comes from the heart, and all for the common good, and how your product line has expanded. And I love everything that you do and what you stand for. I'm just wondering if it may be beneficial. I think some people may be intimidated that, oh my gosh, I have to get my entire house, like my whole water filtration system done, which obviously is an option. But for those that maybe aren't in the, that's not within their, short-term scope, can you tell us or tell them how they can, still get pure, clean water without having to, rewire or have a whole house system?
Oh, absolutely. And I love this. This is one reason why we're kind of set up the way we are. Like, so with Aquaspace, no, you don't have to invest in a whole home system. Obviously, there's advantages to that, but like that young girl in college, she had a small budget, so we did a pour through carafe, right? That essentially replaced her Brita, and now she's getting that same multi-million-dollar technology, because literally millions of dollars went into this research, and that's what's in our pour through carafes. And now you've got amazing drinking water, right? It's alkaline, it's full of charge, it's full of minerals. And it really is, I mean, I'm bathing my daughter in this. This is all she's ever drank, right? And for me to say that, yeah, I'm going to offer it to my customers because I'm doing it for my family. So you don't need to spend a lot of money. And the same is true even for air. Of course, we have whole home options, but we also have less expensive portable options that are still, uh, highly scrutinized and incredible at reducing your exposure to airborne toxins. So, um, absolutely, we get people who come in, for example, they're no longer working, maybe they've had cancer and they're on a very tight budget. So we work together, and trying to figure out, well, what can we do best with our modalities here between the earthing, the EMF, the air, and the water, and we come up with a plan to really try to help people, based on budget. Absolutely. And I love it because it's not, I don't like that, and I'll use the word sales mentality sometimes. Not to be negative, because sales to me is essentially transference of feeling, and it's based on the scientific method trying to solve a problem. And yet, obviously, you got some people that are high pressure commission salespeople. That's not what this is about. This is about problem solving. And a lot of companies will try to sell you the upgrades, right? When you go buy a vehicle. Um, and really here, that same beautiful aquaspace technology, it's in our whole home systems, it's in our small pour through carafes. So everybody has access to it. Same thing with air. Our high-end like proprietary filtration is in portable units, it's in whole home units. EMF. And I learned this from the owner. She is brilliant of Safe Space. If somebody is on a tight budget for EMS, the rule is protect the body first. So then we do one of our EMF pendants, and then you can do the whole home adapter later. So yeah, no, we definitely absolutely work with people in considering their budgets, Charlene.
Yeah, thank you. I know you have a wide range of really amazing products, and I know you spend the time to research and test on your family. So we might just give anyone that comes to see you a little bit of a disclaimer with clean air, clean water, earthing, and EMF protection. You may get pregnant.
Yes, that's a joke. We've had 60-year-olds come in. I don't want another baby. But it's really cool. And we've had grandparents excited because now they're going to be grandparents. This has happened, I think, 5 times now with us, where people grandchildren or our customers direct couldn't get pregnant, and they did. So there's nothing greater. It's amazing.
So amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that. I do want to really thank you for your insight and your passion into this, in my opinion, very worthy and noble and needed service that you provide to Niagara and beyond. But I'm just going to close with one question. I don't know if I prompted you on this, but I hope I didn't. I'm going to ask you, Mario, what do you think your superpower is?
Oh man. Uh, I'd like to brag about my math skills, but I wouldn't call that a superpower.
Well,
Sincerely, I was blessed with amazing parents who did a lot. They did without. They were immigrants, and that instilled in me, I think, this passion, just to help people. My dad was a plasterman, and he passed away 5 months ago.
oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no, thank you. But you know what? In the end, it was beautiful. He was 91.
Hmm.
He lived with prostate cancer for over 20 years, and the cancer didn't kill him. And I'm proud of that. And, I love sharing that story. And, working with him, and repeatedly, I heard him say many times, with his accent to people that, I do your house as if it was my own. And that instilled in me the proper way to live, to be honest with integrity at all times. It's not about money. And, he survived the time when the early 80s interest rates skyrocketed, plaster was getting replaced with drywall, and he paid, not that we were big, he paid his 2 or 3 employees first before he got paid. And I mean, he didn't have to verbally tell me, I saw. And maybe you were looking for a funny answer, but
Oh,
superpower, yeah, to me is that integrity, and I guess love for others, and we're here to serve and be lights, and that's the gift that was bestowed upon me. And if I may too, and maybe I won't say who, but a local naturopath shared with me that one of the reasons he wanted to get people to health was so that they can get closer to God. And I still to this day am taken aback by that. And I sense that that's probably why Purahome was started, to help people with their health and better family lives, and to be lights to others. And if we can get closer to God, then everything you see in this world today will fall. So
Mario, your superpower truly does shine through, and it radiates. So thank you for sharing that and acknowledging it. And thank you so much for your time and being my guest. Where I think you should just share where you're located, how people can find you. Um, I would invite you to visit Mario and his team. I don't know what you're doing with the pandemic right now, but perhaps you can share how people can reach out to you and find you.
okay, thank you, Charlene. So we're located in St. Catharines, right near the corner of Lake Street and Secord Drive. The Honda car dealership is right there at that intersection. So physically, we're right opposite of them. Everything is on display in our showroom. Uh, because this is all health related, people can come into our showroom. We ask that you knock when you come in. If people want an appointment, obviously just please call us, and everything is on our website too. It's just Purahome. So P as in Paul, URAHOM as in Mary E.com. Our phone numbers are there. You can email us there. Yeah, and then we'll do our best, obviously, to serve. We sincerely, we have been inundated. It's taking a bit longer to get back to people. I regret that we are hiring. We have a new person starting in 2 weeks, but it's still taking about 3 to 4 days sometimes to get back to calls and emails. Hopefully that's back to normal in about 1 to 2 months. But thank you, Charlene.
Thank you. And thanks so much for being here, Mario. I appreciate you, all that you do, and who you are. So thank you. Thanks for your time today.
No, likewise, Charlene. We're blessed to have you in our circle as well. Thank you.
Thank you.